actually see the transformation. So I'm not, holding you to it, but what's your estimated hope, maybe?
I would probably advance answer that. First.
Well, I know Mustafa's already been in touch with Alan Placas and others from the Yale School of Architecture to do some preliminary conceptual designs. I know from talking with Mustafa and the mayor, there's also a desire on both parties to have some public dialogue and input and conversation on the development so that it's sensitive to the local needs and designs, and certainly where architectural and historical features can be preserved. Clearly that's the intention here, that most of what's going to take place, or a good deal of what's taking place, is really on the interiors of the buildings rather than the exterior, although there certainly will be facade improvements and restoration, but nothing dramatically changing, rather trying to take advantage of the attractive architecture of a number of those buildings. It would seem to me, just based on the amount of planning time involved in getting that sort of public dialogue established, opportunities for community input for the work of the School of Architecture at Yale and others, that the planning phase will take certainly at least 6 months, if not longer. But I would imagine then with the hope to actually see development commence maybe a year from now or so. Right? Thank you.
These buildings have been vacant and blighted for so long that we're extremely happy that somebody's come in and is actually going to do something.
And what will this do for the tax rolls? I mean, will it increase the grand list eventually?
Yes, it will. By how much, I don't know, but
Right, eventually
definitely
you
will.
would, yeah.
we'll definitely see an increase in the future.
Do you have any idea how much those properties pay at this point in taxes, or?
I'll leave that to James. At least I hope he's been paying them.
Yeah, they're current. The total for the entire property, it's difficult because you're talking about both the manufacturing side and the office warehouse side. I think it's somewhere in the $100,000 range, and maybe 10,000 below, 10,000 above, but it's something in that range. And the majority of that's actually the office building. So the buildings that I think are the first focus for redevelopment have a very low appraisal or assessment on them. So it wouldn't take much to have a substantial increase, I think, in the town's tax rolls on those buildings.
Any idea how many new jobs this could potentially bring in to the city?
Well, obviously the construction jobs that'll be there, but we'll see what office and/or retail goes on the first floor, what we can come up with. And once again, the vision is to, once this does go in, hopefully it'll create new businesses along Main Street. So there's so much potential here, and we're, like I said, very excited about Mustafa taking over this project. Bill.
I'll just make a comment on behalf of the chamber, say what a wonderful way to start the new year. I want to congratulate you, Mr. Mayor. I want to congratulate Alan Fisher for his patience and perseverance over the last several years, and finally to meet Vance, former chamber exec himself, and to welcome Mustafa and congratulate you on your investment here. And this is not only great news for the city, but it's great news for the entire region. This is a pivotal community in our region. As the mayor points out, the accessibility of the rail line, putting people back in the streets certainly will drive the retail and service sector here in our downtown. You can expect the full support of the entire community. I know my colleagues, Ben and Rick, we're all here beyond the town itself, but the region itself to support it. So congratulations, great way to start the new year.
Thank you. That is our vision, getting people back on Main Street. Back in the old days when Farrell's was going at 100% along with Copper and Brass, we used to have 5,000 people working up there. But now we're looking to reconvert, have housing, and make sure that people get back to Main Street. So that's one of our goals.
We see it happening very close by, even in Shelton, so there's no reason it can't happen.
Exactly. Any other questions?
I'll just ask one last question. I'll apologize for keeping it. But for the real estate brokers, properties like this are fairly common, in the valley, as I'm sure you both know. Is there what are the keys? Are there certain things that had to happen to make this happen? Because there's other towns, trying to do the same.
I'll take that.
Please.
You need product that's convertible. You need a town that has potential and upside. And you need an economy that is moving forward. And if you have all of those ingredients, particularly in Connecticut and anywhere along the major transportation arteries, you're going to see things like this happen. In this particular case, there was great interest in this property early on when it was first listed. But unfortunately, we ran into an economic catastrophe in this country in 2008, 2007. And despite a lot of interest, everybody who was qualified kind of